Hello, lovelies. Welcome to this episode of Lessons from the Universe with Jennifer Hall. I look forward to sharing my channeled message with you today, and if you love it, please remember to like, share, review, and subscribe. Hello, lovelies. Today I want to talk about 2020. 2020, the year, 2020, the vision, 2020. It is powerful. It is powerful from a human perspective. It is power from a numerological perspective. It's powerful from an astrological level and spiritual level as well. There's a lot to be said about this new year. Part of it is truly human. It is a worldwide belief, right? The truth is, dates are sort of arbitrary, right? Somebody started them, and so is this really significant that it's a new year, a new decade? It is. It is for so many reasons. Let's first look at it from a human perspective. Across the globe, there are people thinking, ooh, new year, and that is significant. Across the globe, there are people thinking, new decade. Wow, new decade, fresh start. What did I do with the 10 years before this? That is significant. It adds to the human perception and therefore that radio wave, that channel. You know, you've heard me talk about our brains like a radio that you hit seek and it finds the loudest, most broadcast channel. So there are people everywhere thinking these things. And then on top of it, there are people who some consciously, most unconsciously, have the concept of 2020 vision. Perfect vision, clarity, balance. Whether people are aware of what they're saying, what they're thinking, what they're writing or not, every time we write 2020, say 2020, think 2020, we are putting into our brain what we associate with that, which is most commonly clarity. And so this is at the core no matter what. Then we can get into the obvious spiritual things, the numerological parts, right? The number 2 is balance, cooperation, receptivity. It's also weight. It can be either a double weakness or a double strength. And that, beloved, is all about perspective. What power are you using? How are you thinking? Are you thinking of loss, withdrawal, isolation? Are you thinking of freedom? There are 2 sides. Choice, removal. These can be strengths, double the strength. Let's think further numerologically. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, that's a 4. 4 is stability. The 4 elements, the 4 corners, right? North, south, east, west, earth, wind, water, and fire. It's all about getting things done. Let's think of our human lives, our human condition as 4 corners, 4 elements. Self, partnership, family, work. Right? I say family, I mean for Emily. Okay. All the people that make up your life. We are all of these things at once. There's power in that recognition that all of our experience, while controlled by the self and the power of our thinking, is multifaceted. It's a tapestry. We must accept this. This is true power. Only a fraction of our contentment, our love, our support system can come from our spouse, from our parents, from our children. The rest comes from a rich tapestry. Dare I say 2/3 from a tapestry of every experience, every person. The checkout girl at the grocery store, the man you wave at as you drive down the street, the guitar teacher for your children, the housekeeper, the teachers at school, your friends, all these multi-layers. This is where it comes from. We have a tendency to resist that because we have this fantasy of the partner who brings balance, whatever, but balance has at least 4 sides. And 2020 is asking us to accept that. Now, astrologically, we have a lot of things coming into harmony. We've got Saturn and Pluto at play and all kinds of things, right? 2019 was a transition. It was prepping us to accept this vibrational change, right? We are leveling up. It is correlation, the inner to the outer self, the subconscious to the conscious, our thought to our emotion, to our experience. We are being asked to not just see the light in the distance, but to create conditions in which we feel it. 2020 is opportunity to rise above. It is a fix, but it is not this fix where you blink an eye and everything's okay. It's like going to the chiropractor and expecting the pain to instantly go away instead of recognizing it as a process in wellness, right? Going consistently to get that guidance, that help, sitting correctly in your car, at your desk. Just like the wellness of your body, it is a process to emerge from the darkness, not to just see the light, but to feel it. This requires us to allow the darkness to reveal itself so that we can accept it and let it go. Reveal, accept, release. This is powerful and it is important. 2020 is transformation, but only insofar as you are willing to call out the abuse of power in all forms, to identify it and correct it, to break the routine and create your own freedom. I was preparing to discuss 2020 with my clients, with my students, and I thought about this more and more. And as I've discussed it more and more, this concept of abuse of power has taken on a deeper and deeper meaning and many, many more layers. There is every kind of abuse of power. The misuse of your thoughts, the misuse of your words, what you allow other people to have power over you. Focus on your illness instead of the actions towards wellness. Focus on that someone else should be there to strengthen you, to validate you, to make you happy, instead of recognizing that the choice that you make is what creates those things. 2020 is asking us to call out the abuses of power. And as I first considered this, I thought each one must need its own name, right? We must name it insecurity. We must name it wrong thinking. But as I've discussed this more with more people, I realize there is one name for every abuse of power, whether it is in your mind, in the White House, or somewhere up in the ethers. It is the same title. It is abuse of power. And when you label it what it is, you reclaim your ability to direct that power. If my negative thinking, if my fear, if my worry is an abuse of power, therefore I have the power to fix it, to change it, to redirect it. We may have to work with how our brain works. Of course, we have to work with how our brain works. Our brain is designed to focus on the negative. It says, beware, be afraid. We used to be cavemen, animals. We used to have to be afraid that the bear would come and get us. If we didn't contemplate the bear coming to get us all day, every day, guess what would happen? The bear would come and get us. But we don't live in that world anymore. And so we can wave at that fear and tell it hello. But we do not sit down and have coffee with it. We do not give it the power of partnership in our thinking, in our lives, in our manifestations. Instead, we sit down and we have coffee with the truth. That through the power of our thinking, our actions, our emotions, our decisions, we will create the reality that we want. This is real, beloved. Thought creates emotions, emotions create our outlook, and our outlook creates our reality. Choice is your most powerful weapon, our most powerful creative tool. This is the year of personal power. This is our chance to set our lives on the right path towards our awakening, towards our freedom. And it comes from choice. What do you choose? Where do you place your power. How can you fearlessly call that out? Focus on that, on the real opportunity that we have to focus, to be driven by what we have to live for instead of what we have to fight against. We are able to cultivate the thoughts and therefore emotions and outlook and ultimately reality that leads us to opportunity, to stable relationships of all kinds, including the self to the self, to a balance of those four corners of work and life and friends and love, to the surrendering of stress. This is attainable. It's attainable every day and always has been, but things now are aligned to make it more so. To welcome the disruption that reveals the broken abuse of power so that we can correct it. Call it what it is, abuse of power, and change it. This transforms us from discontent to long-lasting joy. This is real, and we have the power. It might require a dramatic change. It might require a breakup, a job change. It might require a new education. It might require therapy. It might require a lot, but you can choose it and you can create it and you can do it. And for those of you who are thinking it's not that easy, yes, it is. One day, one moment, one decision at a time. I talked to a young man today who's a senior in high school. He is finding himself fearful. What am I going to do? He's anticipating the future and all of these things, and it's so big. And he thinks about it. He has anxiety attacks. It is destroying his well-being. He is abusing his power. He needs to pull back. When we focus that far in the future, as far as we should see is how we hope to feel. Joyful, at ease, rested. And then we focus on what we need to do today. And you pull that in closer and closer depending on who you are. For him, I told him, start with what you need to do right this minute. You need to listen to me. You need to make it to class on time. Listen to the teacher. Don't forget your notebook. One step at a time. It's actually what it means to be present, to be mindful. All that you can control is what you have to do right this minute, and anything else is an abuse of power. So let's cut it out. There is another abuse of power that I didn't anticipate talking about today. But I had a unique experience this afternoon that I will share with you because it's meaningful and it feels right. I also get to do a humble mom brag. So 3 children in 4th grade were chosen to be a part of a leadership academy this summer. 2 of those 3 children were mine. I had no knowledge of this. I did not know what this was. The kids come out of school. They each have this invitation. It is heavy. Thinking how interesting. We start to take our daily walk to the house, and I go ahead and I open one of these and I begin to read it out loud. Now, it's pretty clear immediately they're going to be the same. So I didn't feel strange about reading one of them. And I didn't quite consciously realize that we had a third party, or 4th, walking with us, another 4th grader who lives in our neighborhood. His name is Jonah, and I want to be like him when I grow up. I'm reading this letter aloud, and it is really amazing. It is everything I want to hear about my child, my children, who they are, the quality of their character, their desire to learn and grow and stretch, and yet they don't have the best grades in the grade level, right? That's not what this is about. This is something deeper, irrelevant, a topic for another day, but nice for me. And I'm reading this and it goes on and on. It's powerful. And then it proceeds to say that they have carefully been chosen and this is the opportunity and what this opportunity represents. And I finish reading and I stop and I look at them and I say, wow, you guys, I am amazed. In comes Jonah. Jonah doesn't say, why them? Why not me? Jonah doesn't hesitate at all. Jonah is smiling ear to ear. Jonah looks at my children and says, wow, you guys, this is unbelievable. Those are some amazing things that they said about you. And this opportunity sounds unbelievable. I'm so excited for you and proud for you. And I anticipate, I think he even said anticipate, that this will be significant in who you become in the future. I am awestruck at this child. What an amazing friend. How kind and thoughtful. And being the intuitive creature I am, I could tell it was genuine, truly genuine. He goes on his way. We go into the house and I have the inevitable conversation of, you guys should really be better friends with this kid. Wow, right? What an unbelievable level of friendship that he just exhibited to you. And I happened to have his mom's number. I texted her. I said, I want to brag on your son. He was just so unbelievably kind and supportive and loving and genuine. And she immediately texted back, that's exactly what she wants to hear about her child. This is significant in that it led me to ask myself a question. Those who know me well will know exactly what the question is. What do I learn? And how do I grow? And with all the conversations I've been having of abuse of power, that crosses my mind as well. And I think not only about reminding all of you and everyone that I speak with that we must remember to ask, what do I learn? How do I grow? Even when it's not obviously a lesson for us. And do you know what I realized? And what I hope for each and every one of you. And if you are already this, God bless you. Please come be my friend. I want to be like Jonah when I grow up. I don't want to hesitate ever to be proud of another human being, to trust that they deserve every opportunity that they get, to trust that they will make the best of it, to be in awe and inspired and proud and never the least bit jealous. Never the tiniest consideration of why not me. I ask you, beloved, to look carefully through all of the flowers and all of the weeds for any seed of this abuse of power. It would be easy for me to say, I never think that way. I sit with people every day and I am privy to unbelievable accomplishments of all kinds, of all levels, financial and personal and you name it. And I never feel jealous. I never think any of that. I thought of my friends. I don't think that way about any of my friends. I looked through the weeds and I thought about social media. Do I feel happy for and proud for everybody every time? Do I think, yay, good for them, without the least bit ever of why them, of I can't believe that happened for them? Do I never ever think that way? I wish I could say I was more like Jonah. And starting today, I am. I am. Say it with me. I am. I am not only the best version of me, but I am supportive of everybody else, no matter who they are or who I have ever perceived them to be. I trust that they are worthy, and so am I. I believe that Jonah will have a wonderful life because the more that we can be selfless and kind and supportive of others, the more we attract that energy. That is the right use of power. Not to compare, not to be jealous, but to say yes. And I imagine that child goes home and he thinks about the traits that were listed in that letter and he says, how can I be like that? That child is inspired. Because I can tell you this, he certainly wasn't jealous. So our goal this week and every week for the rest of the year and the rest of our lives is to claim our personal power, to make sure it's never abused or misused, and even in the tiniest way off in the weeds. Because when we use our power correctly, when we choose, we transform. When we transform, we awaken. Until next time, beloved, namaste.
Hi beauties, my name is Megan, and I couldn't pass up an opportunity to share who Jennifer Hall really is with all of you. Jennifer is a gifted woman who loves to share the tips and tricks of mastering lessons from the universe through real life experiences. When I found Jennifer about 2 years ago, I did not know what to expect. My past conditioning had me fearing psychics and avoiding them, and that was something I overcame within my first conversation with Jennifer. She has no desire to control you or make decisions for you, but she will tell you what's best for your highest good, and it's up to you to do the work or not. It's very common for people to seek out a psychic to read the future, and sure, it's human nature to want to know what we don't know, to find the certainty in life. But what you actually get through Jennifer is so much deeper than knowing with certainty. It's really about how to grow through the uncertainty and embrace the power each of us hold deep within our own sovereignty and untapped gifts. Jennifer has helped me grow through many lessons in life. Relationship lessons with my husband of 15 years, my gifted and stubborn children, career lessons that involved overcoming complacency and dealing with difficult bosses, and of course, lessons for my spiritual growth and tapping into and embodying my own authenticity. Her podcast, Lessons from the Universe, is food for the soul. It is channeled wisdom, and it is personal wisdom that she picked up as she learned and grew into who she is today. Jennifer is well known and sought out. I have people from all over the world reaching out to me to provide a referral to her so that she can speak with them and they're able to meet her. This podcast makes it possible for people all over the world to receive her messages and receive the love that she pours into the collective. If you aren't a patron today, please consider becoming one and donating as much as $1 per month. If all of her beloved fans donated just $1, it would make an amazing impact on her offerings to the world. I meet with Jennifer monthly, and I'm also a patron because I believe so much in the lessons from the universe. And I have witnessed the beauty in learning and growing, the beauty in overcoming and smashing the many bubbles of conditioning that I succumbed to in my past. I have a new, more powerful story, and a big part of this story is embracing lessons from the universe. Your story will continue to change, and your donations will help many others change their stories across the globe, allowing the story of the collective to change for the best as well. If you love and live through the lessons from the universe as much as I do, like, share, and become a patron, and watch lessons from the universe take the rest of the world by surprise in the best ways possible. Sending light and love to all of you. Namaste.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Lessons from the Universe with Jennifer Hall. If you haven't already, I want to personally invite you to come out and find me on social media and at my webpage, psychicjenniferhall.com. If you are inspired by the podcast and want more content, consider clicking that patron button on Podbean, or you can support the show at paypal.me/Universal Lessons LLC, or by visiting our swag shop at spreadshirt.com. You can find the direct link on my Facebook page and my webpage. If you have questions, consider attending one of my quarterly seminars here in Dallas, or book your own educational session from anywhere in the world using the link that you can find on Facebook or on my webpage. I am sending each of you love, light, clarity, and wisdom. And I want you to know that whether you realize it or not, there's a little brunette with a podcast that's got your back.